Okay, everybody, Dr. Snow here, ready for one of my quick hitters. A lot of things I would normally be writing on, say, Facebook, I'm just giving quick hitters, like maybe a minute or two of an important subject that I do want to convey, but I hate typing. I've done so much typing in my life. I type about 2 words per minute. I talk a lot faster than that. Quick hitters, you ready? Comes up a lot. Food combinations, supplement combinations. For instance, can I take this vitamin with that vitamin? Okay, there's not a single vitamin that you cannot take with another vitamin. Nutrient, mineral, fiber, fatty acid, whatever category you want. Nature doesn't think that way. Nature is holism. Conventional medicine, drug pharmacopoeia, not separatism. They separate things out, or they make synthetic things that have nothing. Synthetic things, for instance, have no relationship with anything. Okay, some drugs like a Valium made out of valerian may have some other thing they can hang out with and be okay, but mostly no, because it's such a out of proportion. It's like, wow, they took a plant and then boom, they really magnified the active combination, the active ingredient. So people ask me, can I take, if I have vitamin C, can I also, because I'll say, well, start taking slippery elm. Or can I take that with the other supplements? And I want to say, well, I didn't say not to, but you can't really think that way. You have to be polite, but you do it 100 times a day. So you can take anything with anything. Some things have more of an affinity for each other, like calcium, magnesium. Most every nutrient that I know of, probably all of them, but most of them have a mate. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. As far as the minerals go, that's more so with them. They have an affinity because calcium makes things hard, magnesium makes things soft. Okay, they work together, soft, hard, and it depends on what the body wants to do. Build a bone, it's going to need a little more calcium, but basically you always want to have the thing you want to do as far as ratios is try to mimic nature. Most places in nature there's more magnesium and calcium, because the calcium is useless unless you can liquefy it, make it soft enough to use, then it'll solidify like in a bone. I don't want to get off the subject, but for instance, sodium and potassium. Sodium is important. Sodium chloride, right? Pulls water in like a magnet, pulls it into the cell. Why? Well, wash it. We need to hydrate it. Need that water. When you're going a low salt diet, guess what? You're dehydrating yourself. Imagine that you're bloated because you got the sodium. You're bloated, but you're dehydrated. Your cells are dehydrated. Why? Because you didn't take in the potassium. Potassium is what pumps the fluid out. So it's like a pump. Here comes the water. Sodium brings it in. Oh, we're having a nice bath here. Having a bubble bath inside our cells. And sodium pump, they call it sodium pump. Look it up. Sodium pump pumps it out. If you don't want to be bloated, like people always say, I'm so bloated. What they're really saying to me cosmetically is my stomach's sticking out. You don't want your stomach not to stick out? Take more potassium. But you got to take it with sodium, because you do want to pull water in, pump it back out. Because if you just pump it out with sodium, you're losing the cycle. So, those things come naturally. There's natural salts out there. I'm forgetting the name. I'm so out of the store mode I used to be in. Celtic salt, like the Boston Celtics Celtic salt, that pink salt. Those have all the minerals in them in the right ratios. Yeah, we used to tell people, weight loss program, pour a bunch of Celtic salt in your little bottle you're drinking water in. Take a sip every few seconds, and guess what? Pumping that water out. You'll say, I never sweat so much in my life. Yeah, you go home and you lost 8 pounds. Well, of course it's water, but that's where fat is too. Fat is just cells with water in them. Everyone says, where does the water go? I mean, when you lose weight, where does it go? Like I've always said that. Where does it go? I mean, we lost 6 pounds, but where'd it go? I lost it. I hope I don't find it. Is it in a room somewhere? Go leads in terms of water. That some of it, believe it or not, goes out in your breath. There's moisture in your breath, goes through the skin, and then you urinate. You're going to lose water, and you'd be surprised when you focus on that how you can get rid of that bloatedness. That they say, well, it looks like I'm 6 pounds over, 6 months pregnant. Well, a lot of people are really saying this. I look at not internally, I look at it externally, because they're saying bloated. The cells are bloated with water. And some of you have bloating on the inside too, but you can lose a lot of your midline, your waistline, that's what I want to say, with the right use of sodium and potassium. All right, foods. You hear all this food combining. There's books written about food combining. Food combining. You know who combines foods? People that don't have their shit together. That's who you combine foods. I was telling somebody earlier, the more things you're concerned about, the further you are away. Like guy was telling, real cool guy too this morning. He was talking about, what was he saying? He thought he put a little too much mustard on something, or maybe had one extra bite of that tuna sandwich. That's when you know you're farther away, because the closer you get, I wrote another book with a cover on it. There's a pyramid, and I call it the food pyramid. But there's much more to it. You look at the pyramid as it goes up to a point, right? The bottom, the base. That base is where you're starting from. You have a lot of things wrong. So we could put little notches on there. Not this one, that one, high blood pressure, this and that. And then another notch that we need to watch out for this part of our diet and this nutrient, and watch out for that. A lot of stuff. But as you move up, a line goes up from the base to the center, up to the point of the pyramid. You have less concerns, because as you move halfway up in that center, that line goes halfway up, the base of the pyramid is a lot smaller because you moved up and that's not as far apart. That means there's less things to be concerned about. You get closer and closer. When you get to the point, you got nothing to be concerned about. You established yourself to be invulnerable. That's why when I talk about the spirulina and the trace minerals, that's how you become invulnerable. Just to give you one example, the trace minerals have the right ratio of every mineral in there. I saw a chart one day somebody made up. It was ultra. It took like 6 years to make the chart, showing the relationship of each mineral to every other 82 minerals on that chart. There's 100 something. Imagine the relationship times 82. Everything, the lines crossed over, going. It was like an abstract art or something. That has it already there. That's the value of eating real power foods. The ones that are delivered the way they were made. Trace mineral research, trace minerals. I posted on the Facebook page. I got to get up on the another thing of value there with the website we're building in addition to the what I want to call it. I'm forgetting the name here. Knowledge base. The knowledge base. We're packing more and more unique information about nutrition in there. Basically, you're not going to hear anything you would consider normal. Because normal is bullshit. Normal is boring. You don't get anything done. Me and my friends were some of the guys who did some of the experimenting. What would happen if we ate 3 years worth of spirulina today and combined it with, let's organic pineapple juice we were using and putting trace minerals in it? How many trees, we were wild into working out, how many trees could we climb, and how many miles can we swim or run? We did crazy stuff like that, working out for boxing and that kind of thing. Basketball was a big one, play all day and all night to push it. We did all that. So food combining, it's bullshit. The more you need to combine things, it means the further you are away. And the more you indulge in it, the further you're going to go away. Because, this whole thing about, what do they call that? Nightshade plants. You can't have nightshades along with some other thing. Look at the macrobiotic diet. I want to talk about bullshit. The guy who was the founder of that, I think he was in second position, the president, smoked tons of cigarettes. I talked to him one time at a trade show. I said, what are you doing, man? You're sucking on those things. He said, it's because I'm very yin, yang. Oh, what's that mean? He says, well, I can do it because I'm so yang or yin. I do this. The cigarette has the yang, has the opposite. Right, he dropped dead of fucking lung cancer. He weighed about, talk to anybody who macrobiotic. George Oshawa, he was the real founder. They ate like rice, but you had to have like a special kind of rice. And they didn't have a pound of meat on them. They're combining shit. Going, here, combine this, combine that. Yeah, well, you can't even stand up. You're so weak. Let's go do something. You can't do that. So, we'll forget his name, but Michio Kushi. Look him up, man. Look like weighed about 8 pounds. And then the Hippocrates Institute. They're another one. Ann Wigmore, all them. Yeah. Separate. They're just into separated stuff. Let's drink a lot of green stuff. Okay, what about protein? How are you gonna That's all. You just eat some stuff. I used to be mad all the years when doctors would say, eat a healthy, balanced diet, balanced diet. The light bulb went on. It's not exactly what they mean, but light bulb went on. See, what you want to do, you want to take power stuff. If you're going to take supplements, power stuff. Stuff, I call it bullseye. Stuff that's going to make a difference. Forget about which vitamin B you're going to take. Give me a break. Forget about, oh, my hemoglobin's a little low. Forget about that. Power stuff. Stuff that's going to make a difference. That you're going to feel like a powerful Superman or Superwoman. Stuff that somebody before you had done. I'll tell you a funny story. I just thought of it now. I had my stores there for a lot of years, and I used to love seeing the sales reps come in. I'd just say, anything exotic, anything new that I can basically abuse. He goes, why I get this new stuff. It's some kind of Chinese tonic with a list of, I don't know Chinese herbs at all. I don't know anything about it. A long list of it. It was a wild-looking label, Chinese-looking stuff. So he handed me a bottle. It looked like a Coca-Cola bottle, but it had that label on it. And he popped it open. He says, hold on, I'll be right back. And he went up to his car and he's rummaging around, looked for something else exotic because I bought everything that way. And so he says, I drank it. I just drank it down. He says, where's it? I said, no, I drank it. He goes, you're only supposed to take like a dropper full a month and under supervision. I said, I drank the whole thing, just right down. He packed up his stuff. He said, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm not responsible. He wanted me to sign like a waiver. I said, no, I just drank it. It didn't taste like shit. And so what did happen, I went on a long streak that's never ended. I only sleep an hour or two a night. And that's fine with me. There's not trying to do it, just it is me. Happened from that incident. Just remind me, I promised a funny story, I think somewhere I said, I think it's funny. I had my stores there, and I used to do a radio show. I used to go down the store before I go to the radio show. So I got my office up above. I say, what do you got today for me? I'll talk about some vitamin C. Well, there's an older couple working for me, Steve and Marion. They were probably 79, 80. Like really cool. Like, she was like a sidekick and he was a cool guy, used a pencil and all that. Very smart, Harvard educated and all that. But, kind of out there. So Steve would do the ordering for me, and so I go in there and he's got this like aisle full of these giant end cap displays. What'd you do? I'm thinking, how much money of mine did you spend? He goes, that's the new thing. I go, the new thing. Because the sales rep who used to come in, I used to buy the wild stuff. He had Steve by the balls, man. Steve would buy anything. It wasn't his money. So I said, how much might you buy? What is it? He says, it's called Grow Bust. Grow Bust. I said, Grow Bust. What's it do? He says, it grows breasts. Are you kidding me? There's nutritional products that will grow up. That's what they say. Steve, they said they show you pictures. I would have liked to see that, I guess. There's no, it grows busts. So he goes, Steve, you spent like $7,000 on Grow Bust? You didn't ask me or anything? Grow Bust. So I go to the radio show now. I was going to do a night show on vitamin E. I got to go on there and talk about Grow Bust so we can get this stuff out the door. So I said, Marion, that's his wife, 79 years old. I said, Marion, you're in charge of Steve. You should have stopped him from doing that. I'm not so mad at Steve. I'm mad at you. So I'm going to get you back. So I went to the radio, and on the way there, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Well, my building, that store, their store they worked in, was in like this old-fashioned aluminum siding building, and the radio signal wouldn't go through there. So I'm on just a few towns over in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, talking about this, and they can't hear me say anything. So I say, hey, folks, we're going to talk about something exciting today. You women, and maybe a few of you guys are going to like this. New product, grows your bust. Really big. I talked about it for quite a while. Grows your bust. Grow Bust. I'm thinking, Steve, that bastard, $6,000, $7,000, whatever it was, that MFer. So I'm thinking, but it's not Steve. I'm talking. So I said, listen, I'm thinking, now I'm going to get Marion back. Listen, we have a whole bunch of the stuff. We stocked up. We bought almost a trailer full. A tractor trailer full. It was amazing. People are growing bust before they even took it. That's how good it was. So I said, if you're interested, if you're somebody who thinks that's good for you, man or woman, go up and don't say anything. Just want you to observe. There's an older woman. She's very attractive. Marion is her name. And you've probably seen her when you've been there. Well, she's been taking it. Of course, she hasn't been. But she looked like she had. So I said, go up there. Everybody, whenever I'd say go to one of my stores, they had like 4 of them. They'd go up there. I always had something promoting something. So there'd be like 50 people. So I go up there, back, and I said, now when you go there, I said before I left, just take a good look, look really good at her bust area. Take a good look. You might walk up closer and take a good look from the side or whatever, but don't say anything. But just make sure you take a good look. So I go up there, and there's some people coming and going, and I see some of them looking and stuff. So it filters out. Finally, they're gone. So Marion Watson, she says, "What did you do?" I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Everyone's staring at my breasts." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "But you better get a handle on Steve over there." So finish off the story. Same company. I come in there a month later. Mounds and mounds of this stuff called Cobra. It's still available on the market, probably both of them. Cobra. It's the male version. Enhancement. Cobra. So I said, "Steve, you spent like 67,000, not 6,700 on Cobra? Male enhancement? We just went through this with the Grow Bus." He said, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to be great, And they showed guys. I said, "I want to see. There's testimonials." So I said I was gonna talk about like walnut oil or something today on the radio show. Now I gotta go sell Cobra. So I'm on the car, driving down Woonsocket. I was so mad that day. I drove right through a cone. They had the cones out just before the radio station. I was running late, and I wanted to get on and fix. It was again Marion's fault, but I was going to punch Steve because he should know. Marion should be keeping an eye on him. So I drove right through this cone. What do you call it? Decoy. Not wanting me to go over the detour. I drove right through it. Cop pulls up, walks up because it's right there. Jordan Trey goes, "What are you doing, man?" I said, "I got to do a radio show, and I talk about male enhancement." He goes, "Oh, you're." Call me Skip Snow by that at that time. Oh, male enhancement. Just go ahead. I'm going to listen. So I go in there. I say, "Hey, folks, I'm going to talk about walnut oil today, but that's put aside. Something more important. The new reg. It's called Cobra. And if you want to be the top guy on the block, you want to get Cobra." I said, "Before you get though, we're talking about enhancement, folks. We're talking about enhancement. Before you go get it, what I want you to do is go up to my store. And I want you to, don't say anything. But when you go up there, take a good look at Steve. He's an older guy, he wears glasses. He always has shorts on, winter, summer, anything. And just sort of take a, glance. Of course, you don't want to stare. Some of you might be, but according to your lifestyle, you might want to just take a side view once in a while, just glance to see, because you want to know if it's going to work or not before you drop $19.95 on that, So, so go up there to the store, pack them in, get up there, and take a good look, and then you can decide whether you're determined that it's right to you. It just so happens, as a God's honest truth, Steve, was an older guy. He wore these shorts that are always kind of like puckered. You know what puckered mean? And we used to tease him once in a while. "See, what are you doing over there, man? Whether there's vitamins, really hot vitamins, or he'd be putting stuff on the shelf." But he had this puckering thing going. I think it was just pucker. But anyways, so he had that going on. He's rocking the pucker. So I come up after it. They can't hear anything, and people didn't say anything. So Marion was, she was laughing. She goes, "What'd you do now?" I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Steve." She goes, "Everyone's staring at him." I go, "Where?" She goes, "Well, down there." So I go, "I don't know, but he's got to watch out for what he orders. It's your job." I said, "It's really your job. I put you in charge of him." I said, "I'm going to now do a Cobra show about you, and Marion." I said, "I'm going to tell him to check out you, and if there's no puckering going on, you're okay." But that's the kind of stuff that used to go on in my stores every single day. We sent somebody somewhere. I guess it was a way to get people in stores, right? But we used to have a lot of fun. Contests, strange noise contests. Whoever could make the strangest face. We'd have people up the block, get something free. Then we have to wear a weird hat. Okay, that wasn't good enough. Too many people winning. You had to stand on one foot, and you had to make a strange face, strange noise, and then we get together after each person, like have a little huddle meeting, and say, no, that face wasn't funny enough. Go to the back of the line. And we had hundreds of people. It was a riot. And they come up and make the noise, wear the hat, stand on one leg, make the face. And the people kept coming. We said, we got to thin the crowd out. Said next week, no one had won yet, because we just kept on voting it down, saying no, you had to have that tongue out further for that face to be weird. The hat, no, not funny enough. So we go all the hat, face, one leg, funny noise, maybe a couple other things. And so they kept coming. We said, we don't want to give away the store. So the last one we said was, you have to make that fart noise with your hand under the arm, you used to do when you were like 11 or something. Some of us still do it. I do it once in a while. You know the one I mean. So a lady comes in, and she's got one of her kids with her. And she's, nice looking lady, probably professional. She does the whole thing. the hat, the noise, the one leg, and I said you can't laugh. That's another thing. We just made that up. Right now, since you're laughing a lot, we're trying to get rid of you. No laughing. So she stopped, straight face. So she gets to the last one, the noise, the fart noise, and she says, "Okay, Timmy, go ahead." And Timmy's going, he's doing it. So we get together and we voted down. We said no. And we didn't have anything in the clause. There was no clause that said Timmy could do it. It's the person doing the face, the noise, and all that. Well, she was good-natured. She came back and she did it all through again, and she just couldn't. There was too many people there. Next time she was trying to do it, and I said, "You got to wet the hand. Remember that one? You had to wet the hand and put it under there," and she just wouldn't do it. So no one ever won because we just made sure no one won. It was more of a stunt to have fun. So we had everything. We had like, I won't go into it now because I'm boring the hell out of you. The moral of the story is nature doesn't care what you combine. Foods, just eat it. Supplements, just take them. Foods and supplements, yes, you can take them together, but you'll get more of a bang. I'm the only one in the world I know of that says take them separate from food. It's splitting hairs, folks. If you say, "Oops, I took out my vitamin C with the food," guess what? You're going to get 99% of it. I'm talking about, I go hardcore because I know what really works. Learned it from drug addicts who took drugs on empty stomachs. They taught me a lot. They used to come in and buy inositol, which is something you mix with cocaine. I said, "Tell me what you're doing, what you're up to." And one last story. I had a trucking company, cement trucking company down the road. They were doing a lot of piss testing. And, guys would come up and say, "Hey, you got anything that can help me?" I said, "Well, I got this stuff, I forget the name of it. Little bottle, and used to clean the urine out, and they'd be pass the test." So a lady comes up, she buys 5 cases. I go, 5 cases? What are you doing? She goes, "I run the P-test contest down the trucking company, and I can sell this for like twice the price that I get it for up here." So that's the end of the stories for today. Hope I didn't bore you too much, but combine everything.